December 7th, 2018 was the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that was like, what, over 6 years ago? Yeah, we haven't had an installment since. It's safe to say that anyone who has played Super Smash Bros., including myself, would be very familiar with its perks and whatnot. Yeah, I really wish they did. There are so many problems with this game that I see nobody talking about. The only exceptions being like a few top players in bracket. So that's like, what, 5 people? This peeves me so much. I've been playing these games since Melee was the newest game. There was a point in my life where I didn't think Luigi was even in Smash Bros. Because I just assumed he'd be a playable character by default. So I think I know enough about the game to know what I'm talking about. This video is going to be divided into multiple chapters, so feel free to skip to whatever chapter you want to go to. Timestamps will be in the description. Number 1, the online is awful. What comes to mind when you think of an online fighting game? You know, casual, ranked matches, right? You know, what every fighting game ever has? Can you guess the 2 things that Smash Bros. Online doesn't have? And that's not even taking into consideration the fact that Nintendo's Wi-Fi is less responsive than other consoles. EVO 2020 should have been their wake-up call, but nope. We're still dealing with Nintendo's piss-poor internet. So how does Smash handle rankings? It doesn't. Instead, it has random, useless numbers that don't mean anything. It sacrifices a proper ranking system for matches of equal difficulty, regardless of solo or elite battles. There's almost no difference. Trust me, I have played online before. I got the 10,000 matches achievement, and still, nothing has improved. It's only gotten worse. I've been banned from online because I've been disconnected mid-match because of Nintendo's pathetic excuse of an internet connection. Which you also have to pay $20 for their membership, or more than double that price so you can play with Nintendo's unfinished emulators. Nintendo needs to get their act together, but it's safe to say, they never will. Number 2, the buffer system. On top of Nintendo's horrible Wi-Fi, there's also the game's horrible buffer system. A buffer system, for people who don't know, is designed to delay a game's input so they don't have to be frame perfect. You know, that's not abnormal for games to have, let alone fighting games. Thing is, Smash Ultimate decided to take it up a notch. Has this ever happened to you?
No, I got gimped.
This is called buffering air dodge off stage. This is a direct cause of the god-awful buffering system that plagues this game's meta. It's a result of the player inputting the button only to have it react a half second later. As you can imagine, it's very frustrating. It's meant to help bad players get better by punishing good players for being good, but at the same time, it punishes bad players for sucking donkey ass. So in the end, it benefits nobody. And the shitty online connection only makes things worse. I've seen this happen so many times online, both to my opponent and to myself. It sucks when it happens to you, but when it happens to your opponent, you feel like you didn't even earn the victory. To this day, I still don't know why the buffer system was designed like this. Number 3, the game rewards bad habits. There is another mechanic I haven't mentioned yet. Stale moves. This is when you spam a move too many times, it gets stale. Example, you spam Mario's jab repeatedly, it will eventually get weaker until it slowly recharges after you stop using it. All moves obey this philosophy. It's meant to prevent a player from spamming the same moves. That's good design, on paper. The problem is, there's only one type of move that does not follow this philosophy, that can be spammed without punishment. Projectiles. Fucking projectiles. You know, the most annoying, most spammable option in all of fighting games is the only move that never gets stale. Why use moves that get stale over time where you can run away and spam projectiles? Doesn't that sound like a fun time? This game actively encourages the player to run away and throw out as many projectiles as possible. Any other fighting game would have some method to punish this behavior. That's another thing I'll bring up later. Number 4, the roster is unbalanced. Everyone is here, but does it actually matter when half of your roster isn't viable? You'll have a character as amazing as Peach, while Jigglypuff is bottom tier trash. Pichu gets nerfed in several updates, while top tier Pikachu remains untouched since the game's launch. Marth is worse than he's ever been before. Meanwhile, you have Lucina, who is literally better in every way. Zelda has been bottom tier in every game she's been in, while Wario has been top tier in every game he's appeared in. It doesn't help the fact that the devs love to overcorrect their own mistakes. Kirby is an amazing character in Smash 64. Better make him low-tier trash in every future installment. Captain Falcon is amazing in Melee? Let's make him one of the worst characters in Brawl. We made Meta Knight literal god tier? What about we make him complete garbage so that never happens again? The problem is that the developers will look at a character like Smash 4 ZSS and think that the solution is to heavily nerf them until they're not a viable character in the slightest, instead of actually balancing them properly. There are so many characters in this series that were amazing in one game only to be turned into absolute trash in the next. Kirby, Jigglypuff, Meta Knight, Rosalina, Bayonetta, Ice Climbers, Marth, and ZSS. That's not even including the characters that went through the opposite effect or were never changed at all. You only have to observe the character's moveset to see which characters the devs actually cared about. Donkey Kong is a generic heavyweight character while Kazuya fights like he does in Tekken. Banjo has a moveset ripped straight from his games while Sonic has multiple variants of the same move. Sephiroth, a sword-wielding dark sorcerer, has a moveset that represents the source material, while Ganondorf, another sword-wielding dark sorcerer, has the same moveset as a rushdown brawler from an entirely different series. The inclusion of characters is so clearly biased as well. The list of characters is meant to represent Nintendo and video games as a whole. Instead, 20% of that roster, which could have gone to Waluigi or another Sonic character, instead goes to anime sword fighters. 20% of this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster consists of anime characters with swords. Oh, don't worry, I saved the best for last. The DLC fighters. More than half of the DLC fighters in Smash Bros. Consists of broken gimmick characters that don't abide by the mechanics of the game. Ryu has fighting game inputs that give him more moves than other characters. Cloud has a chargeable meter that increases the power of his attacks. Bayonetta can kill you in one combo. Joker has a meter that makes all of his moves stronger for a limited time. Why does he have this? Why can't other characters have this? Why does Hero have a magic meter and Link doesn't? Link has a magic meter in his games. Why don't any of Pyra and Mithra's moves have any end lag? Simon and Richter are low tier because no character should be able to safely throw out attacks from a safe distance with no repercussion. Then why did you make Min Min that exact character? Sora can win by doing the same two moves over and over again. Everything about Kazuya, and of course, Steve. Fucking Steve. He's not even playing Smash Brothers, he's playing Minecraft. Was that the goal here? Design characters to play like their own games rather than the game that they're currently in? People hate Capcom Fighting Jam for this exact reason. Rather than making a cohesive fighting game, instead prioritizes mechanics exclusive to specific characters that were never created equal. That's the same issue with Smash Bros. Characters are either game-breaking gimmicks or had no thought put into them whatsoever. It's quantity over quality at its finest. Number 5, the game is only for casuals. You know it's bad for the fighting game community when the game's lead director labels their fighting game as a party game first. Ever since the original Smash, people have been playing stock matches. So why the ever-loving hell is the default rule set 2 minutes with no score display? Who the hell plays timed matches? Not to mention the amount of game that's dedicated to a ton of side content most people are going to only try out once and never again. Remember Smash Tour? How about World of Light? Or anything to do with spirits? Is there anyone on Earth that remembers Coin Chasers? Yeah, that's what I thought. The game devs focus so much of their time on side modes like this that they forgot to make a fighting game. And they're not even done well anymore. The old Smash games aced their side content. Melee's Target Smash was catered to each individual fighter. The adventure mode was a short and fun homage to the games represented. Brawl's adventure mode was a straight up story mode. Smash 4 just phoned it in. The only good side event that game had was Smash Run, a mode exclusive to the 3DS version. Ultimate has no interesting side content to speak of at all, and the side modes that it brought back were done better in previous installments. Creating Mii Fighters is a good idea on paper, but you're heavily limited to the moves you can give them, and they're all low-tier garbage anyway, so you're just better off picking a different character. This game is only for casuals, and Nintendo can't even do that right. Which brings me to my next point. Number 6. Nintendo doesn't care about its players. I've lost count how many times Nintendo has shut down Smash Bros. Tournaments. I've never understood why. The only reason I can think of is that Nintendo doesn't want people enjoying their games, which is an awful reason. It's like, oh what? Well, you want to play our games? You want to preserve our past? Yeah, well screw you. Screw you for wanting to enjoy our content. I mean, it's not all true. Nintendo has hosted their own tournaments, except competitive players don't do timed matches with items on. A prime example of Nintendo's petty behavior is Riptide 2021. Riptide was an event in Sandusky, Ohio that would host a plethora of Smash Bros. Tournaments. This included Ultimate, Melee, and Project Plus. Project Plus is a modded version of Super Smash Bros. Brawl designed to balance the game and essentially make it a spiritual successor to Melee. Nintendo, being real strict about modding, caught wind of Riptide hosting this tournament. Instead of shutting down Project Plus from Riptide when they found out months before the tournament was supposed to be held, Nintendo decided to instead wait a week before the tournament to take legal action. Nintendo waited for people to pay to enter Riptide, pay for their flights and hotels, to basically then tell them, haha, you wasted a ton of money for no reason, ha 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 ha. Fuck you. There are people trapped in lifetime debts to Nintendo. That's worse than alimony. We all know the real reason why Nintendo shut down Project Plus. It's because they made a better game. They made a game that people actually care about, which is something Nintendo can only pretend to do. Number 7. The platform fighter is a genre. It's extremely disheartening to know that any platform fighter in the genre is instantly compared to this pathetic excuse of a AAA title. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, Mortal Kombat is just a Street Fighter clone. Marvel Rivals is just an Overwatch clone. Halo is just a Call of Duty clone. Oh, that game Batman Arkham Asylum? Pfft, yeah, I've played Metal Gear Solid before.
Nowadays, Smash clones are all too common, and now people get mad if you call them that. They're platform fighters now. Okay, sure, but I know what you are.
Fuck you.
I can't believe platform fighters are still being called Smash clones. Smash Bros. Pioneered a genre. It doesn't mean it is the genre. No matter what platform fighters do to change or improve what worked and what didn't work with the genre, people are still going to close-mindedly compare them to this unfinished mess produced by a company that couldn't care less about them. Number 8. The conclusion. The game is in beta. It's not finished. So many times attacks will trade, moves that shouldn't work somehow work, and vice versa. Everything is broken. The online is broken, the buffer system, and all the game's mechanics are broken, and the roster is broken. Half of the things in this game don't even make sense. Like, why is the moving platform in Smashville considered a stage hazard, but the blocks in the Nintendo stage are not? Skyloft moving to different locations is a stage hazard, but when Defino Plaza does the exact same thing, it's not considered a stage hazard. Why are there untaggable situations at all? I can keep going on and on and on. Now, just because the game is heavily flawed doesn't mean it's the worst game ever. There are things to like about it. It's still a good time with friends and family at the end of the day, even if the game is heavily flawed, which it is. Most platform fighters don't understand what made Smash Bros. Special to begin with. It was designed as a party game first. Maybe in the future, a platform fighter will figure out what worked and actually stand a chance. Maybe the next Smash Bros. Will be better. After all, the game's original director retired. The next Smash Bros. Might be the saving grace for the franchise. Or it might be its biggest failure. Only time will tell. Thank you guys so much for listening to me bitch about a game for children. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.